6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Be My Guest podcast, where we interview inspiring entrepreneurs who share their stories and their insights and much, much more. You made a great choice tuning in today to the Be My Guest podcast. Welcome and enjoy the show. Hey guys, another episode with Be My Guest podcast. Got another great episode with another great entrepreneur who wants to share his story and insights, and I'm excited to even hear about it because it's a particular topic I love talking about, marketing, things like that. But for those of you who are watching that might be an entrepreneur and you have an inspiring story, insights you want to share, we'd love to have you guys on as a interviewee. You can go to our website, BeMyGuestPodcast.com. That's BeMyGuestPodcast.com and click on Get Interviewed, and we will consider you being our next guest on Be My Guest Podcast. Without further ado, let me bring on our guest right now, Mr. Ben Jones. Ben, by the way, I forgot to ask you in the pre-interview, where are you videoing from?
So I'm actually in Perth, Australia. So it's kind of fun. We enjoy it here. The nice thing is, if I'm talking to people from the US, I can tell you the sun will come up tomorrow because we get it before you. So don't have a lot of numbers, but we are in the future, which is kind of cool.
So we're kind of speaking into the future, if you will, a little bit, if you can. So that's pretty cool. All right. Well, hey, listen, Ben, thanks for coming on and being a guest today on Be My Guest podcast and sharing your story, your business, etc. Looking forward to learning from you. If we could, before we get into anything, let's start off by who you are, introduction of yourself and what you do and how you got started.
Perfect. So obviously my name is Ben Jones. We do a lot of YouTube advertising, pretty much for any industry or most industries. We've generated millions of dollars in sales. We have clients who do multiple 7 figures off YouTube advertising. I speak on stages all around the world, just trying to spread the word about it. So that's a little bit about what we do. We usually do a lot of lead generation for B2B or high ticket B2C, and usually work with entrepreneurs or business owners who've got to a certain point with their advertising but feel stuck, but really want to go to that next level. So that's kind of who we work with and how we help them. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we can provide a whole bunch of value and share some cool tips and secrets with people. And I look forward to spending some time with you guys.
Awesome. Let's dive in. I'm not quite sure if we got enough there, but what is it about YouTube advertisement that got you interested enough to make a business out of it?
Yeah, cool. It was out of necessity, actually. And I think everyone goes down this journey. If you're running any sort of paid ads, particularly on Facebook, there's going to come a time where your ad account gets shut down, or you lose your ads don't get approved, or you just can't go, that point where you just can't go any further. Ours was basically, we were running, filling rooms and running some marketing just internally for another business I run called Youth in Business, where we teach kids how to start businesses. But the problem with that was we were trying to fill these rooms and we just couldn't. And we got all our Facebook ad accounts banned. Very long story short, we had to switch over to find something else. And that's where we moved to YouTube advertising probably about 7 or 8 years ago. We hired an agency. I went on holiday. I came back, the rooms were filled, and I was like, this is a thing. And then, I was asked to speak on stages by some friends and that sort of thing. And one thing led to another, and now we help businesses scale with YouTube ads. So it was kind of out of necessity. And I think, the cool thing was, I think the best stories come that way. We have a problem, we figure it out.
Yeah.
Then we can help other people do the same.
So you faced a problem where you weren't really able to do much with what your current situation was, so you shifted over to YouTube ads, and you said you originally hired an agency to do that. Is that right? Did I hear you right?
Yeah. So the story goes, I actually had to go to China, and it was all around the same time for a couple of weeks before these events started. And back then there was no real VPN, so there was no Facebook or Google or anything over there. And we didn't really know how to do Google ads or YouTube ads at the time. So we hired an agency. We also did it internally with our team. And when we got home, it turned out that we did a better job than the agency. So obviously we fired them. And, we just took what was working for us and went from there. And primarily there's a lot of things that happen in the Google ads, but the YouTube ads was the thing that was really working for us. And we just grew and scaled from there, basically.
Wow. And let me just ask if I can, right while we're at this part, obviously people have had a lot of success with Facebook ads, etc. But what's the main difference in using Facebook ads versus YouTube ads?
Yeah, I think the differences are a couple of things. One, in the 7 years that we've been running YouTube advertising, we've never had an ad account banned. For multiple clients and all sorts of things. And on Facebook, that's just not the case, right? So Facebook's very hard to scale because they have ad fatigue very quickly. You just get it working and then you ad fatigue, you put another ad in, and then all of a sudden that ad doesn't work as well as the last one, and you struggle with scale, which is the problem. Whereas on YouTube, you can literally run the same ads for months at a time, which is a big difference. But I think the biggest difference would be that hardly anyone's there. Less than 10% of the marketers or businesses in the US and Australia, for that matter, aren't on YouTube yet, and it's the same physical size in terms of daily users, just about, as Facebook. So it's a blue ocean of opportunity, which is really cool. I think the other big difference is who you can target. Facebook are always taking away their targeting options and things like that, whereas on YouTube you can literally get really, really detailed in your targeting. If you were to compare the two, it would literally be like Godzilla versus Bambi, and Facebook is not the Godzilla in this equation, if you will.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Now, from what I know, and I don't know the stats, maybe you do, more and more people are watching YouTube almost like TV now. Is that true?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like a lot of the cable networks and things like that are actually struggling against YouTube. I mean, you ask most people if they'd rather watch TV or YouTube, and you get some pretty cool answers. I think that the main thing that we're all going to YouTube for is entertainment or education, right? And it's a different type of education than just scrolling through and looking at what people had for breakfast, right? Like you're literally subscribing to or watching things that you want to watch, right? And I think that's the big difference with YouTube. And yeah, the ad side of it is obviously ever growing, right?
Yeah. Now, would you say that is it possible, or from your experience, you see a better quality of leads and opportunities when it comes to YouTube ads? I know you might be a little biased now that you're all in on YouTube ads, but sounds like you did some Facebook before, maybe, and now you're doing that. So would you say that's the case, to get better quality?
Yeah, 100%. And look, we do actually run Facebook ads as well. So, like as much as I'm going to hate on it, like we run Facebook and YouTube ads at the same time. And hell, I'll run TikTok ads or LinkedIn ads, whatever is going to work, right? But at the end of the day, like when you're running ads on all the platforms, what we normally tend to find is when clients come to us is they'll be really heavy in Facebook and search, right? They're going to be like 80% in Facebook or maybe 20% in search or something like that. And then when you introduce YouTube ads, what we find over the space of a couple of months is 80% of the budget ends up in YouTube and 20% ends up in Facebook for remarketing, for example. And we still get some of those main keywords in search, so a little bit will end up there, but the majority ends up. I mean, everyone wants to spend their budget where it's working best, right? And so that's what we find. The other cool thing too is the reason why the leads are better on YouTube is because of the targeting. And I think on Facebook, you have that genuine interest targeting, right? Where you can target what we call, let's say we wanted to target a mum who wanted a birthday cake, right? And she was interested in, cats, chocolate, and surfing, and she wanted a chocolate cat on a surfboard, right? You could literally target that mum, right? And you can do the same, and that's amazing. You can do the same thing on YouTube, but the big difference is you can actually target by income. So let's say that you're selling these cakes for like $500. You can actually be like, hey, I only want to show this to people who are in the top 10% of income owners. And that makes a massive difference, because now you're actually targeting people who can afford your products. And I think with a lot of people who do lead gen, the biggest problem is that they get time wasters, people who just can't afford their products or services. So that's a big difference, right? And then the second one is you can actually target by intent as well. So let's say you've got the interest, you target by people who can actually afford your stuff. And then lastly, you could literally target people who are going to Google and typing, chocolate cat on a surfboard as a cake, right? And you can layer all those three things and just show those people your ads, which is what makes the ads are the leads are way more targeted, right? And the conversion rates are way higher because you basically have better targeting than Facebook had 10 years ago. And you can really, really dial in on that person. And when you layer that with like stealing your competitor's traffic, it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Now, when I peeked at your website and it said something about stealing your competitor's traffic as well, and you just mentioned that. Explain a little bit what that means. I mean, obviously, I know what it means as far as the term. What does that mean as far as using Facebook versus YouTube or YouTube ads and how that works?
Yeah, so I think another thing too with Facebook is they're a bit limited with their targeting options, right? Like iOS 14 and 15. The way Apple's dealing with it is they turn their data off, and Facebook is losing more and more targeting every day. Whereas Google owns pretty much everything, man. Like it knows, what websites you go to through Google Analytics. It knows what's in your inbox. It knows what you're searching. It knows what your Chrome browser history. It knows what you're purchasing. It knows what's in your Google Calendar, right? Like the amount of data Google has, why it's scary as an individual, as a marketer, is really, really cool. So what we can do is, let's just take Google Analytics and Google Chrome, for example. Google and YouTube ads know that you're actually going to certain websites, right? So let's say that you grab your competitors' URLs, like their actual website address, and you copy that, and you can put that straight into YouTube ads. You get anyone visiting this page, we want to show them our ads, okay? Wow. Which is really, really cool. You can literally, and if you want to take that one step further, why don't you target their actual product pages or their checkout pages or their thank you pages? And if you're doing softwares, you target the login pages, so some softwares we do are like CRM. So people visiting like ClickFunnels or HubSpot or Salesforce, don't just target people who are interested in that. If you want to target their users, you can target their login pages, which is really cool. So yeah, that makes a massive difference. And, we call it ethically stealing your competitors' traffic and basically sending them straight into your website or funnel.
That's pretty neat. So how far back can that go? Can you date it back to how back?
Look, to be perfectly honest, like how long can you go back in terms of visitors and visiting the page? Yeah. I don't know exactly. Okay. I don't think Google gives you the stat on it, but usually it'd be people who had visited it pretty recently, I'd imagine, for the conversion data to work.
Right. Gotcha. Well, that's pretty neat. Now, I've also noticed on YouTube ads, a lot more of the ads are using QR codes. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, and I think that's becoming very popular for TV advertising on YouTube, right? So a lot of companies at the moment who are doing TV advertising maybe don't realize that YouTube is on everyone's TV these days, and it's actually a placement that you can pick. So you can actually pick like only users who are watching YouTube TV, right, or on TV devices. And then, of course, the cool thing there is you were able to put a QR code, so people can just pick up their phones and basically connect through. Right. And the cost for being able to advertise on TV for YouTube is like, I'm going to say 1/10 or 100th of the cost of advertising on TV. So wow. It's actually pretty crazy. So if you're doing any TV advertising, yeah, that's a super powerful strategy. So
yeah, and with TV, your targeting is nowhere near what you're going to get with YouTube. So that's pretty cool. So you can actually select just wanting to be shown on a YouTube TV version or the TV display version of the YouTube ad. And I would imagine, being that you can steal your competitors, you could probably also do the same thing based on certain channels and what those channels bring as far as audience is concerned. So if you wanted to target, a certain persona or personality, and their crowd is got people in there that you'd want to serve, I would assume you could do the same thing with your ads as well, target them.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're targeting, you can actually do it by channel. So let's say that you're a coach or something like that, and you want to target people who watch Tony Robbins' channel or Grant Cardone or Marie Forleo or whoever, right? Every time they go on their channel, they're going to see your ad. So these guys spend millions of dollars creating these massive channels and dialing in probably your specific audience. And then every time someone goes there, they can see your ad. So it's pretty cool. You can do websites. You can do like YouTube channels. You could even pick the top 10 or 20 or 100, top YouTube videos or trending videos in your space and show ads there as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was on your website looking at some of the clients that you guys have highlighted there. It looks like one of the videos has got a lady by the name of Joanne, says it went from 2K to 40K monthly earnings. Tell us a little bit about that. That sounds interesting to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Joanne's actually runs a business with her son called, and that's called Kako Fidgets. They actually do fidget spinners, which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
And they make them from home. Kai's
People
actually
still buy those?
Yeah, it's mental. Like Kai, he was actually in our youth in business program, and where we teach kids how to start businesses, and she actually ended up leaving her full-time job and working for him. So it's pretty cool. And then, but they make these very tailor-made, like high-end fidget spinners, if you will, for people with sensory needs and things. But yeah, I mean, they were the same thing. They were trying to run ads on Facebook and trying to get the word out there, and they came over to the Google and YouTube side of things, and were able to blow up their business and super scale. And they're on track to do, over 7 figures selling fidget spinners just off the back of YouTube advertising. So it's kind of a cool story, that one. Yeah.
And what are you seeing, and I know every business might be different, but based on investment versus return, what can people kind of around about expect based on those kind of numbers?
Yeah, I think, look, at a minimum, you want to be at what's called a 3 times return on ad spend. And we basically will only work with clients that can get there. And most businesses, if you're not there already, need to figure out how to do that. And we actually have some free marketing calculators and things you can grab, or if you jump on a call with us, we can run you through it. But basically, for every $1 that you spend, you need to be making $3 back. And you need to have that as a minimum, because otherwise, how do you pay for scale in your business? How do you pay for more staff? How do you pay for delivery of the product, for example, right? So you really need to be at a minimum 3 times return on ad spend. And that would be sort of your baseline. Most like B2B services for doing lead gen, you should be like +5 realistically. And if you're a high ticket coach or something like that, or you're selling high ticket services, it's the same deal. Like 3 sounds amazing, but that really is your minimums, and you want to go up from there. So that's really the main one. And look, if you don't know how to work it out, obviously you can grow our calculators, but it's basically as simple as this: like, how much does the traffic cost you per click? You can literally go on to Google and be like, my industry cost per click, grab that number. You'd be like, what does your website or sales process convert at? So for every traffic that we spend, we get 5 sales or 3 sales or whatever. What is that sale worth to you? And you can just work it backwards. So if a sale was worth $1,000, to make, and it cost you maybe $50 a lead, how many leads does it take to make a sale? And then you can work it backwards. Okay. And then once you've got that math, it's pretty simple math. You can go, hey, look, for every $500 we spend, or every $300 we spend, we're making a sale. And that's really what you need to sit down and work out.
What do you recommend for people to give them the best option? Because you guys are just setting up the possibility for them to get a book calendar or a bunch of leads in their funnel. What do you recommend? Do you give them any kind of coaching on how to convert those leads? Because for the most part, a lot of people have some challenges with that, not just the lead part. And if they're not getting conversions, then your service, you're going to be the bad guy. I kind of know how that goes. So how are you helping people with that?
Yeah, so look, we've partnered with a couple of other sales companies as well. So look, if you haven't got a sales team, you're thinking, hey, look, I need a full thing all the way from marketing through to sales, we can definitely help with that. And the cool thing with that is they're actually the same people that do mine and some of our A-list clients, which is really cool. Because what can actually happen in a perfect world is you can end up with too many leads, right, and not being able to convert them. So being able to find quality people who can do it for you, so you can actually be the business owner and not be working in the business is kind of really cool. So, and probably the main thing is we need to have a look at when we do a deep dive on a new client, the first thing we look at is their sales process, their offer, and then we run it right back to like, who is their avatar? How do we create ads that just attract the people that they want, not just everybody. And then, we'll go through their sales process. One of the big things that we want to be able to track is for every ad, can you track that back to a sale? So have you got a system where, like you can see, hey, this sale came from, this is the sale, but can you see that sale came from this particular ad, and you should be able to track and measure that. And a lot of people don't have that. They're like, hey, look, we're running ads, but we don't know what's working. And that's the danger area, right? So
Right.
Having a system where you can go, this is the ad, this is the sale, spend more money on this ad. That's really key.
Yeah. When you guys are doing these strategies with your clients, are you recommending, and again, it may vary based on the business of the product or service, but are you recommending, let's say it's a coaching client, they got a high ticket offer. Are you just getting them to get leads to nurture, then to turn into sales? Or are you recommending, if you can, to get people to sign up or buy into the product or service right away?
Yeah, so it depends on their sales vehicle. So for example, some ones that are working well is, let's say that you're a high ticket coach and you're running live events. People are rocking up. It's all about getting people into the event, right? And then the sales process happens off the back end. You might work on a measurement like, income per registration, and then we measure that. The other one that we would do is, let's say that they're doing a virtual event, okay, where they're getting people in for a one-day online thing. Okay, it's the same thing. Like, we get the leads in, and then it's about, how many do you convert off the back end?
Gotcha.
If you're not skilled enough to do any of those two yet, you might be doing, say, small webinars or VSLs or whatever. But in all cases, in coaching, most of it's going to be like, all roads lead to book a call, or to a call with a salesperson who's going to close, right? So you might have like your pre-warm-up, which is like a cool opt-in to a VSL, to an event or whatever, to a book a call. Or you can actually run any sort of warm audiences or remarketing anyone to a book a call straight with one of the team. And then it all becomes, like, how much does a book a call cost with whatever strategy that you're running, and what are the conversion rates on your calls? And then you just work it back from there.
Yeah, that sounds good. Now, where are you seeing YouTube ads and things like that going? I mean, is there some things that you're looking forward to that you've kind of already got some knowledge on, or where do you see it going?
Yeah, look, I think it's a pretty exciting time to be in the space. Like, one of them, for example, this year is with short form content. So YouTube Shorts, for example, are very popular now. And the cool thing with the ads that you can do there now, which you couldn't do like 12 months ago, is you can actually run image-based ads, right? So you can take your Facebook ad image creative that's working, and you can move that over into the YouTube ads platform, and you can actually run it there, which is really cool. So It's kind of the first time that you can really run YouTube advertising on Google, if you will, or YouTube. Yeah.
So in other words, you could use a static ad, or could you do a video as well as a YouTube short?
Yeah. So short form video ads. Normally YouTube would be like a long form video ad play,
right?
But yeah, obviously being able to do a short form video ad is really cool. So
yeah. Which, I've seen a lot of people grow their subscribers just from short videos and pointing them back to their channels like crazy. So why wouldn't it work, especially if you can put some fuel in it with the ads? So that's pretty cool. That's neat.
Yeah. I mean, the other cool thing that you can do too is, a lot of people are like, well, how do I get more reach, or how do I get more subscribers for my YouTube channel? And the cool thing is, you can actually run ads to help grow your channel. In the same way that you can boost Facebook content, you can do it with your YouTube. If you've got a YouTube channel, for example, for cents on the dollar, you can really, really grow out a YouTube channel. And like, we've worked with a lot of like music industries and coaches and consultants and those sorts of things who are really looking for extra followers. And the cool thing is, like, literally for, under a cent, or sometimes maximum a couple of cents, you can get a view. And a view on YouTube is over 30 seconds, not the 3 seconds that you get on Facebook, right? You can even dial in and, target people who just want to be subscribers, right? And get more subscribers for your channel. And usually people say, well, how much does that cost? And I usually say, look, somewhere between the $50 and $30 mark, you're going to get over 1,000 engaged views, right? So, very, very worthwhile doing if your channel's only getting 100 views of video or something like that. Spending what you'd spend on getting the video edited, the $20, $30 or $50 to doing that. If you just spent that on your, on growing the video, you'd get heaps more views and subscribers, which is really cool.
Wow. So let's talk about that real quick. I mean, obviously they can hire you, which we're going to encourage them to do, to run their YouTube ads. But let's just say, for the kicks of this conversation, what kind of budget are you recommending for people, especially starting off, if they've never, maybe they're a newer business or they have a new coaching program or whatnot, and this is like the first time they've run ads, and maybe their budget's a little smaller, or they want to start off smaller. What would you recommend? They got it. Where's like the minimum so they can actually get results?
Yeah, I think, look, that it should come down to like how many leads do you want in terms of sales, right? So what's the sales amount that you're looking for? Like, and you really need to work it back from there. Like, we would want an extra 100 sales or 200 sales or whatever it is. So for someone who wants 200 sales, it's going to be different to someone who wants 5 sales, right? Because the business can only handle so much. And so I think that's really where you want to start, is like, what's the ideal, and then work back from that. Well, to do that, we would need X amount of leads, X amount of leads cost X amount of budget, and having probably a more systemized approach to how much they should actually spend. So it may be anywhere from, you get started for anything from like $50 a month, all the way through to, $5,000 or $10,000 a week or a day. It really depends on where your business is at and what you want to do. I think the cool thing is, at a minimum, even if you just set it up for remarketing to where you were already marketing, and it was just another platform where you weren't dependent on just 1 or 2 platforms, that would be pretty massive.
Yeah. Well, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'll give you a little scenario here. So let's say that I'm seeing a conversion of 1 out of 5 leads turning into a sale, right? And let's say I want to land 5 leads a week, which would be an average of about 20 a month. What would you recommend as far as that area? And I know it's going to be based on my targeted client or whatever, but what kind of budget could I look forward to?
So what are you thinking now? Like $20, $30 a month or something? Or
well, I want to land 20 or so clients, and I'm doing a conversion of about 1 out of 5. So I probably need, what is that? 1 out of 5. So that would be about 5 a week, right? So I would need 20 leads a week. So I'd probably need, what would that be? 80 leads. I believe that turns out to be. Don't quote me on my math exactly. Let's see. So if I want to do 20 clients, let's say I want to do 20 clients. So I'm 1 out of 5. So 4 would be 20. Yeah. Looks like about 80 leads I would need to get in.
Okay. So you need 80 leads. What particular niche is the industry in? Is it in like lead gen for?
Let's do coaching, business coaching for Christian entrepreneurs. Like, let's just be niche about it. Like, those who want to scale their business, or even start a business and do it, with certain core values, Christian wise. Yeah.
So you'd probably do. And how's it currently being closed? Is there a webinar or event or an opt-in, or is it straight to a book a call? Like, what's the marketing?
Well, recently we created a school community, have them come in the school, and then we do like mini workshops and things like that. Okay, cool. But we do have on our thank you page, just so you know, I mean, we do have a way for them to book a call too, as a way to get them to go ahead and book with us.
Cool. And what's the way you want to sell? Is it through the school community, or is it through the book a call?
Well, I'm going to be greedy and say both.
Excellent.
So
you would run both. And so what a lot of clients we work with, they might have like big Facebook groups or school communities or like whatever the community platform is that they're running. And you would run ads like, hey, join a community of people who want these things. These are the things that people get, blah, blah, blah. So you can run ads straight into the community and then remarket anyone who went to the landing page with a book a call ad. It's probably what you would do in that scenario. So, leads to the community in that space might be anywhere from, $10-ish all the way up to, depending on your marketing and who you want to target and how dialed in you want to be, anywhere up to like $30 to $50 would be expensive, right? And you'd probably start there. You probably started that $30, $50 mark ish, right?
Mhm.
Now, if you knew how many people joined the community ended up on a call to a sale, let's say that 10 people joined the community, and one of those 10 book a call with you, and then it takes 3 calls to make a sale. You can just work that math back, right? So
Right.
let's say that it cost $500 to get a call. If it was $50 and 10 people did it, and 1 out of 3 booked a call and you close them, you'd be at $1,000 to $1,500 a sale, right? Now, if you're
Right.
selling business coaching, if a client was worth, say they stay with you 3 to 5 months or 6 months or a year or whatever it would be, maybe they're worth I don't know, 30, 50 grand or something like that. That would be quite a profitable way of doing it. If that was a bit too expensive, you might do something else where it was like the remarketing on the other side of people who went to the community to book a call. All of a sudden, instead of the 1 out of 10, now you're getting 1 out of 3 or 4. And that brings your cost per call down, but to like, $200 ish is kind of where you want it.
Yeah.
And then, it's $600 to make a sale or something like that. It's kind of the sweet spot of where you want to be. Now, I don't know your how much you're charging or anything like that, but in that space, even if you just run ads straight to like, we want book calls, most book calls, like if they've never even heard of you before and you've got a really cool ad and landing page, you're probably going to be looking around that $100 to $300 mark per book call. So that's probably you can look at it. And if you get the other bonus of them being in a paid community, obviously that brings the cost per lead down as well before they book a call. And but yeah, that's how you can work out your 3 times return on ad spend, right? That's where it's like, well, to do that, like if I want 10 calls, it's going to cost me $2,000, right? But I know I'm going to make $10,000 off that, which would give you a 5-to-1 return on ad spend. And that's when people talk about budgets and things, that's really the first thing that we sit down and work out with people is we actually stick their business in a calculator so they can see like what their return on ad spend is before they spend any money on ads. Which is, I think, is a great experience. If you just did that, what we just did there to your business, like that's really going to be helpful in terms of knowing where your ad budget is going, right?
Now, would you adjust? Because I thought you mentioned early in the conversation, you can target based on income level. Did you say that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So let's say my offer is $5,000 a month, or $10,000 one time, something like that. I mean, obviously, it's not the highest ticket, but it's not the lowest either. Would you recommend making sure that income is at a certain level, or what would that be if you did?
Yeah, and I think this is where, like, if you're a business coach, for example, startups aren't going to have as much money as people with 10 employees, right? So it's really like, what is the sweet spot of people that you're really good at serving? Like, who do you serve at the highest level? So if you're able to serve people who are let's say your ideal client has 5 to 10 staff, they're stuck at a certain point, they can't scale because they need systems and processes, or they need marketing, or whatever they need. Knowing who that is really important for the ads too, because you can call those people out, or you can talk about their specific problems and how you solve them, right? And and if someone's going to pay $5,000 a month or $10,000 one off or whatever it is, obviously you need to be able to have a very good value proposition. Like, if you work with me, we'll 2x or 3x your sales, or your systems, or help you fund an extra day or 2 a week, or like whatever the thing is that that business coach does. That needs to be very clear before they book on a call. So because businesses are going to pay for solving 1 or 3 things. It's going to be more money, more time, or less stress and hassle, right? So whichever camp that you sit in there with your advertising is super key.
Yeah. And I agree with that. That's definitely the 3 areas that people want more of, or better situation for sure, man. Well, I got your website here. I want to put it on the bottom line. And so people can see, if they want more information, to go to that website, titanmarketer.com. That's titanmarketer.com. And book a call with Ben and his team if you're interested in doing YouTube ads and Google ads, etc. sounds like these guys are the ones that you would want to at least have that conversation and see if you can go to the next level. Before we do close out here, Ben, what's one of the biggest success stories you have you can share with us with one of your clients and how they've really went from, starting with you and scaling their business as a result, and you guys being a major part of that?
Yeah, so I think like you can see there's a whole bunch of testimonials on our website and different people who've worked with us. But one that really stands out is if you take Andrew and Daryl Grant or Steve Eagle, they're running How to Buy, How to Source Australian Made, basically, instead of sourcing from China. When they first came to us, they were super heavy on Facebook. Like they were doing okay, but they hadn't really cracked it. And I mean, in the first couple of months, we already had them at over a 10 times return on ad spend. And these days they're sitting up around the 19 to 20 times return on ad spend, which is really cool. And we've been able to help them scale to like multiple 7 figures in a 12-month period, and like millions of dollars in sales off YouTube ads. And it's super reliable for them. And every week they've just they know their sales before at the end of the month, before at the beginning of the month, because they know if they spend X amount, then they'll get X amount in sales. So yeah, that's a pretty good example. And we work with a lot of people who are heavy on Facebook, and it's the same story over and over again. It's, they start there, and we start to transition their ads over to YouTube, and then all of a sudden they've got this scalable thing, which is kind of what most businesses really want, is they want their ads to be dependable and reliable, if nothing else, and know what they're going to get in terms of sales before the end of the month, right? So if they spend X a month, they get X in sales. And if you see on our website, there's heaps of testimonials and videos and people talking about that. But that's really the key. And we've had the opportunity to help businesses in just about every niche you could imagine, and it just help them scale. And we get a real kick out of that, which is really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not alone, and I'm sure there's competition as there is in every sector. But it still seems like, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it seems like still competition is a lot lighter when it comes to YouTube ad agencies, etc., versus Facebook and all that good stuff. Is that still true right now?
Yeah, 100%. Look, like I said, less than 10% of marketers or business owners at the moment are on YouTube or YouTube ads, right? So it really is. I think all these ad platforms have an adoption curve. 10 years ago, Facebook ads was a new thing everyone was getting into. 10 years before that, search ads was what everyone was getting into. And 10 years before that, email was the new thing on the block, right? And this is where YouTube sits today. And in another 5 or 10 years, maybe TikTok figures out their ad platform, and that's the new thing, right? But yeah, at the moment, that's kind of where the opportunity is, and you can kind of be rewarded as a early adopter of YouTube ads. I mean, the other cool thing is, even just for getting started with Google or YouTube ads, they'll literally give you $500 for the first $500 that you spend. And it's like 50% discount on your first $1,000. Like, when was the last time Facebook did that? They gave $75 out over a decade ago to get people on that platform, right? So that's kind of why I think there is this opportunity, and there isn't so much competition in terms of it. And I mean, there's always going to be competition, but
right.
There's startup people trying to run an agency, and there's people who generated multiple 7 figures for many clients. So I think there's also the experience factor as well. So
right. And you guys have been doing it, you said 7+ years, I believe, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it a while now. So yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So you like it? The competition still light, and you've been doing it long enough to be called an old dog in the game that still got less competition. So that's great, man. Well, listen, anything else, Ben, we can share, or you wanted to share with the audience in case we missed that, or anything you guys want them to know?
Yeah, look, I think the main thing is just get started, right? So, like whether you use us or someone like us, or you want to do it yourself or whatever, we've got a whole bunch of free resources you can check out. Anything from like how to script out your ads, all the way through to how to target your competitors, walkthroughs and the whole thing. Just get started with YouTube ads. Like, you won't regret it. At a very minimum, just run it for retargeting for anything that you're running already, and I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised at the results, and you'll just stop being dependent on 1 or 2 crappy platforms, right? So, so I guess, look, if I had to say anything, look, it's not gonna not going to hurt you to get started, even if you want to grow your YouTube channel or target your competitors or whatever you want to do. Just get started with YouTube ads and see how you go, and find that dependable place to really scale up your business.
Yeah. Well, Ben, you've shared a lot of wealth of knowledge, even if I was doing it in a greedy, personal way to kind of find out myself. But maybe we can plan another one, and maybe it can be more of a mini workshop, because I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs looking and watching. And but man, great value you shared today. I appreciate you coming on and sharing that with us and our audience today.
Cool. No, thank you, Frank. Look, it's been my pleasure to be here, and hopefully we've been able to deliver some value. And I appreciate everyone's attention for hanging on and listening for so long. And look, thanks again, and I look forward to hearing how you guys go.
Yeah, man. Stick around real quick for me, Ben, and I'm going to play this out. For those of you who are watching, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Be My Guest Podcast. You've been watching Being My Guest Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to be a guest on our podcast, go to BeMyGuestPodcast.com. That's BeMyGuestPodcast.com. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. What did you think?
Yeah, I think that was okay. Had fun.
Yeah, I got a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure the audience, as they watch it, will as well. Would you benefit from me sending you the recording? You want to use that at all?
Sure, yeah. That'd be great. Can you also just send us through any links that you want us to promote? So whether it's a YouTube channel or your podcast or whatever, and then when my team put it together, they can send the link back. And that'd be great.
Yeah. I was asking a lot of questions because I definitely I got a new program that I'm coming out with for Christian entrepreneurs or actually the audience that I was looking at was really someone who wants to start. Let's say I don't know how to label this audience, but it's more like people who are already working, making money, but they don't have a lot of time, and they want to. They definitely have a desire to do something and leverage the internet, whether it be through courses or coaching or whatnot. And I wanted to target those people and then help them build out their online business, right? So you think that's something that you guys may be able to work with?
Yeah, for sure. So, people wanting to, basically, if I've heard it right, to, start up an entrepreneurial side hustle, Christian based. I think that would be perfect. So yeah,
I'd like to get them where they go from, let's say they're making $250,000 a year. It's not, they're not rich, but they're not hurting, and they just don't have a lot of time. They're working 40 to 60 hours a week, and they need more time. They want more time, and they know they got to do something, but they don't have no concept of how or strategy. And I want to coach them how to do that. So I want to target them, bring them over to the community, and also book calls, and then, nurture them through the community, but also try to make the sales through the calls as well. That's what I was thinking when you were talking.
Yeah. No, perfect. Look, that's pretty much what we do. So probably the first thing we need to work out is like the best marketing strategy and messaging for the ads, and just go from there. So
what do we do? Book a call or something so we can get
I can send you through the link for that now if you want. So,
that'd be awesome. I also wanted to ask you about something too while you're doing that. And this might be something beneficial to you. I've actually put together this thing called, I'm sharing my screen, called the podcast funnel. And basically what I do, and this may be something that we can help you guys with, is we target ideal clients and we interview them on our podcast, and then we connect them to clients we work with through the podcast funnel is what I call it. And it's actually what I've been using as a lead magnet for my community now, to say, hey, if you need a way, if you don't have money for ads right now, but you can also do a podcast, let me through StreamYard, you can start getting clients right now. So we're actually seeing a 70% conversion rate of most of the people we're interviewing on behalf of other clients. Just like we interviewed you, we go through a process of showing them. So it works really good. And I wanted your opinion on it. One, for maybe even using it as a lead magnet for YouTube, because, a lot of people love sharing their story and talking about their business. And so you don't get a lot of pushback when it comes to, hey, I'd love to have you come on the podcast. And if that's done strategically and you know what clients you're looking for, all of a sudden now you have a great way to get clients consistently. And obviously, without doing the ads, without knowing what you're doing, the pushy sales, the cold calls, etc. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but maybe that's even something you guys, I don't know if you have a podcast or not, but maybe we can connect you with some potential clients as well, because we're interviewing probably about 10 a day.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, you definitely market that. I think that would work pretty well.
Yeah.
So you're helping them create
you think that might
podcast?
be a good idea for a lead magnet or an
Oh,
actual
perfect.
service to sell?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think that'd work really cool. So, yeah, and then you can just target exactly who you want to work with as well, which would make that really fun. So
Yeah, because if they, I've been doing this for 2 years where I land clients through podcasting. Like I just interview them and like, hey, if it makes sense, I can offer you something that you need work with, because we interview a lot of coaches, right? So and coaches, one of their main thing is getting more clients, at least consistently. And so we'll actually do this for them until they get enough money to do some of the other things like work with you and do ads and other stuff. So it's worked out pretty well for us so far.
yeah, I think that. I don't know what you sell this for, but this could be worth quite a lot. So
yeah, well, I do. I try to figure out how many clients they want to, get a month. Like I do 15, 10, or 5, and just kind of price it based on their client value. So if a client's worth $2,000, I try to do something that's within that range. But like we just signed a client that he's doing men's mental health and charging, I think, $7,500 for his program. So, obviously I can charge a little more with that because of this. There's no more cost increase, as long as I can find them online and we can book them and put them on the podcast, we usually can convert them for them and do a recommendation. So
that's cool.
I don't know if we can collaborate in any way in that way or use this as a lead magnet, but I'm interested in working with you, man, on the YouTube stuff, man, because I think that's the way to go. Really targeting people and getting them in the community and booking the calls, because I've started to launch that program and it's really working already. So
yeah, no, that's cool, man. Well, if you book the call there, you'll jump on with one of my team. But if obviously I've been on the podcast, if you like, I could probably send you through just my straight one if you wanted to jump on a call with me and go through it.
Yeah, let's do that if you don't mind. I'd love to talk with you more about it.
That'll be a different link, but let me. One moment, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Just get that for you. What?
Have you heard anything similar to that offer doing the podcast funnel?
We have worked with people who help people do podcasting. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'll give you this one. Copy link. So yeah, if you want to talk to me, this will come through to me. If you wanted to talk to one of my team, that would be the top one. So just grab that Calendly link. So
yeah, let me see what I can do for Wednesday. Looks like you got opening then. That'd be cool. Okay. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of people offering podcast help, but is there anyone actually helping them land clients this way?
No, I think that's a new way of doing it. And look, I think a lot of people want to do a podcast, but they just don't know where to get started. So I think that would be cool with some testimonials and things. It could be. I think that's a pretty massive offer. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited because I think I don't know what your services or management cost, but I think if we can structure it the right way, it can cash flow right away.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you want to be making sales within that first month. So
yeah, that's what I figured, man. So I'm gonna look at my calendar, make sure I can do Wednesday, and I'm gonna book a call and let's see if we can put something together.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Frankie. It's been a great meeting, and I look forward to chatting to you later on.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate it, brother. We'll talk soon. Okay.